Why can't I lock onto this helicopter?
Because he's got the anti-lock on $10 pass.
He's got the gotcha pass.
In my Fixing War Thunder video, I mentioned that close air support in ground battles was something that I wanted to make an entire video on. I honestly wasn't sure I'd have enough to say, but after playing a lot of battles both as anti-air and aircraft, I'm not worried anymore. The current system for spawning aircraft in tank battles creates a myriad of issues that people often don't realize. I think it's worth mentioning that I don't think CAS is the biggest issue War Thunder has. Far from it, in fact. In lower tier matches, CAS isn't all that bad, but CAS in top tier has become pretty much unbearable. The first and most obvious issue is with revenge bombing. If you've been living under a rock, revenge bombing is the practice of spawning in a plane, flying straight to the position of the guy that killed your tank, and then killing him. Sometimes the revenge bomber will be so intent on killing you that he rams his plane into your tank, dropping his ordnance at the last second, basically ensuring that you die. This is extremely common in War Thunder, and it only subtracts from the overall experience. If you were playing something like Battlefield, and the person you just killed had the option to smite your character from the kill cam screen, that wouldn't be very much fun, would it? If you wanted to get revenge on someone using a tank, it's a much more even playing field. You know their location, but you have the same limitations as they do. Obviously, there's no real way to stop players from targeting whoever they want, but the practice could be curbed in a few ways, which I'll get back to later. Second, CAS is way too easy to abuse. I think the fact that most ground or naval battles and tournaments devolve into CAS spam is a good example of that. If you know how to fly, tanks are pretty much completely helpless. Most can't get enough elevation with their machine guns to fight back in any meaningful way. Anti-aircraft vehicles aren't much of a problem either, not even later ones with radar and surface-to-air missiles. Speaking from personal experience, the radar fails to lock onto the target most of the time. Proximity-based ammunition has also been extremely finicky recently. It seems like SAMs don't detonate when they should, and even if they do, they don't do much damage. If you fly erratically and fire air-to-ground missiles in the general direction of the anti-air, you will almost certainly come out on top. Even if you do get shot down, don't worry, because you can still use your ordnance. This is the worst on helicopters, where they can guide missiles onto a target even after they've been shot down. Now, I am not a good pilot by any measure. I haven't played Air RB in a while, but even I had no issue using CAS at top tier. The introduction of bombing computers for aircraft has only compounded the CAS problem. Instead of having to get up close and personal, aircraft can now just spam rockets from kilometers away. It reminds me of the days when aircraft had the arcade bomb indicator, which was eventually removed because it was overpowered, but now they've essentially just added it back in. Additionally, spawn point costs for aircraft are way too low. I knew that was the case, but I didn't know just how bad it was. By getting a measly 2 kills in the medium tank, you can spawn in a G91 with Nords. In one game, I got a single kill in the ADATs before dying, and maybe 1 assist, but I was able to spawn in the FJ4B with 5 bullpups. Third, CAS utterly destroys the flow of gameplay. If any aircraft buzzes you, you're basically forced to take your attention away from the ongoing ground battle, so that you can at least try to deter the aircraft with machine guns. Your team could be on the verge of making a comeback, finally pushing the enemy off the caps. But since the enemy team has more points, they can spawn more aircraft, and simply bomb the zone once it starts being captured. This leads to a constant back and forth of spawn a tank, cap the point, spawn a plane, get a kill, spawn another tank, capture the point again, rinse and repeat. Spawning an anti-aircraft vehicle at the start of the match isn't a good deterrent either. Most of the time, you die to a tank before you even see a helicopter or a plane. And due to the aforementioned issues with top tier SPAA, they're not a guaranteed hard counter to aircraft anyway. I tried playing nothing but the Stormer HVM and ADATs to keep CAS at bay, but I felt functionally useless the majority of the time. Even though I did manage to kill a decent number of aircraft, it wasn't enough to have any real impact on the match. Some countries enjoy pretty hefty CAS advantages, namely the US and Germany. America has a decent number of fighter bombers, which are pretty straightforward to use, as well as a few aircraft with bullpup AGMs. Germany, on the other hand, has cannon CAS, which is both brain-dead easy to use, and has much higher damage potential. Germany also has what is likely the greatest example of the CAS problem, the G91. Do you want to spam AGMs at tanks, but can't be bothered to grind top-tier jets? Well, no worries, because you can get a G91 with 4 Nords for only 99,000 RP, or, for no effort whatsoever, you could simply buy the premium G91 for around $50. Sure, it only has 2 Nords instead of 4, but it's still enough to revenge kill the guy that destroyed your stupid armored car. As much as I would like an optional tanks-only game mode, I don't think that's something Gaijin would ever do. Increasing spawn point costs for aircraft and aircraft ordnance would be the easiest solution. There could also be hard limits on how many aircraft could be spawned at any given time, sort of like arcade. Maybe they could give specific tanks a sort of electronic warfare consumable, so the aircraft would need to get up close and personal. Is that very realistic? Probably not, but it would help balance things out. As I said in my Fixing War Thunder video, they could add AI-controlled hazards, stuff like SAM sights and anti-aircraft emplacements. Those would deter aircraft and give tanks more targets to shoot at. And that's basically all I had to say on that subject. As always, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you on the next one.
You